Hello everyone! In this video we are going to discuss an intriguing case which is a staple of the UFO lore on the one hand, and while on the other I believe it has never gained the attention and acknowledgement it really deserves. We are visiting the Kumburgaz UFO case. This event, or rather a series of events we are going to talk about today, covered the time span from 2007 to 2009 and it took place in the northwest of Turkey. The heart of the sightings was the town of Kumburgaz, even if some of the sightings and UFOs were seen as far as in the biggest Turkish city, the famous Istanbul. The local residents have observed a series of strange objects over the sea. The objects in question had the shape of discs and ovals with a metallic appearance to them, and were seen hovering above the sea and maneuvering silently, but sometimes they were also accompanied by strange red and orange lights. Some of the people who have witnessed the events were local fishers and some lived in the nearby housing complex overlooking the seashore. The initial sightings dating back to 2007 were recorded with and filed with Serious UFO and Space Science Research Group, which is the main UFO reporting body in Turkey. And since the activity continued over a long period of time, it gained the attention of the local and national Turkish media and was mentioned even on the CNN in the USA. Thanks to the intensity and frequency of the sightings and the fairly high population density in the local area, people living in and around Kumburgaz started filming the objects as early as the first waves in 2007. However, the main person who was propelled to what could be dubbed UFO stardom was Mr. Yeltsin Yalman. He was an experiencer himself and he remembers a sighting dating back to when he was a child and was fishing with his father. They saw three unknown objects hovering in the sky above them. Years later, following the 2007 sightings, he purchased a camera and was the key person who filmed and took photos of the 2008 wave of sightings as he became involved in skywatching at the time. The best recorded 2008 wave spanned over a period of several months, from 22nd of May to 28th of September, when anomalous aerial objects were sighted again in the local area. Mr. Yeltsin, whom we have already mentioned, worked at the local facility called Yenikend at the time during night shifts, which allowed him to record his material. The recordings we are going to see now were taken on 8th of June. The material seems to show an object observed just before 4 AM, and when zoomed in on, it shows a lenticular-shaped object or craft with what looks like a dent or a dome in the middle and is possibly transparent. The next day, the 9th of June, saw a glowing ball of orange or red plasma hovering in the sky for several minutes, including a bright reflection of its light on the water surface. The 12th of June was another day of sightings, and again we can see a craft recorded that day. The shape of the object is again lenticular or saucer-like, though this time there is no obvious dome or compartment in the middle of the craft, and the sighting took place slightly earlier, after 2 AM. A similar oblong-shaped craft was recorded also on the 2nd July, roughly in the same area, hovering above the water surface. Yeltsin managed to zoom in on the object several times during his recording, and that was just before 4 AM. After 5 AM, with the dawn already around, there was another sighting of what seemed like the cluster of lights hovering above the water surface. We can again see the reflection of the craft's or object's light on the water. One more similar sighting of a cluster of lights above the sea was filmed on the 16th of June the same year. The collected material, including that filmed by Mr. Yeltsin, was sent to the aforementioned Serious UFO Center. There, a researcher named Haktan Akdogan, the director of the center himself, analyzed the videos. He also conducted interviews with the local residents in Kumburgaz. Having analyzed the pictures frame by frame, zoomed and at scale, tracing the frames pixel by pixel, the center found no evidence of any tampering with the video material, thus excluding computer-generated content, hoaxes, mock-ups, and so on. The UFO Center has excluded the objects as being planes, helicopters, meteors, planetary sightings, satellites, Chinese lanterns, weather balloons, and other usual culprits of possible UFO sightings reported everywhere. Another sighting occurred in 2009, this time during the International UFO Congress held that year in Istanbul. The onlookers watched a ball of light maneuvering near the cloud level. More unknown objects were observed at night as the sightings continued all through the night and into the morning of May the 15th. The distance to the objects seen over the Sea of Marmara, as calculated from the vantage point, was estimated to be in the range of 44 to anywhere between 58 and 91 nautical miles. The 2008 sightings were also a subject of an interview by Roger Lear, an American ufologist, and later discussed during the famous Coast to Coast AM radio show with the veteran UFO and investigative journalist George Knapp. One more video, which was analyzed in such detail, was recorded during the first wave in 2007. It included a collage of recordings from the period between 20th June and the 31st of August. The filmed objects involved round, disc-shaped ones and oval-shaped craft flying over the sea surface and changing directions. In this material, we can also see a lenticular craft with a possible dome or a compartment in the middle section of its structure. The Sirius UFO Center again found no evidence of tampering, although this being the first video, it was suspected of being a hoax at the time. The video was sent over to the National Science and Technology Research Board of Turkey, so a national body which is considered reliable, influential and neutral in Turkey. There, the National Observatory Image Processing Unit examined the material and eventually produced a report stating: "The objects observed on the images have a structure made of a specific material and definitely are not any kind of CGI animation or in any means a type of special effects used for simulation in a studio or for video effects." So the conclusion of this report is that the observations are not a model, a mock-up or a fraud. Despite the assurances, there have been attempts at debunking the Kumburgaz videos and photos. The most common explanation provided, as a prosaic one for the lights seen in the sky, was reflections coming off cruise ships often traversing the area. Other suggestions included Turkish military, namely the Air Force, conducting exercises in the area. However, no records of any kinds indicating military presence near Kumburgaz and Istanbul during the sightings is available. The reports provided by both Turkish authorities and the Sirius UFO Center, however, should be able to exclude such objects and explanations very easily, given the experience and skills of the researchers working there. In addition to the videos themselves, one of the recordings by Yalcin Yalman stir even more of a fire and imagination to this very day, not to even mention discussions and speculations. When we zoom in to the maximum possible degree at one of the taken shots of the lenticular craft with the central compartment visible, we can see what possibly is an outline of at least two occupants of the craft. Unfortunately, due to the distance and the quality of equipment available, we are left with what looks like silhouette or two similar to the famous grey aliens visible in the frame. Some people did an analysis and speculated there is also a third occupant on board the craft, this time being a mantid type of an alien, and the 2 or 3 non-human intelligences are around the central table, where they examine or control something. I myself do not see that, to be honest, but I am also not a graphics expert and I could not exclude this explanation either. I do see, however, the two outlines mentioned before. The Kumburgaz case thus remains fairly strong, and the one possible event which yielded a photo of actual non-human beings flying one of their craft. As a bonus to this dive into this case, at the end of the video you will see some bonus content related to the case. And what do you think about the case itself and about the possible alien photo? Do you think this is real? Let me know in the comment section down below. Meanwhile, there is a lot of rumors regarding this month January floating around in the UFO community, as well as a wave of new drone sightings, this time over Denmark and Sweden. If nothing new comes to pass over the course of the next few days, I may try and cover these events in the next video. Until then, stay warm, take care, and I will see you soon in the next one.